Greetings everyone, I am Vic Anthony Silva. Today, we will talk about challenges to ethical behavior. But first, let me ask you some questions. For you guys, what is ethics? And why do we need ethics? Is it something we can eat? Or something that can help us to have a love life? Ethics defined as morally right. We are determined to take some action for the sake of justice. So meaning, ethics is dependent on the capacity of the individual to think what is the better, or we can say it is the freedom to choose what is right or wrong in a certain situation. Let's say for example, the law is somewhat biased, which forces us to disobey it and make a decision that violate the law the sake of what we know is right and better for majority. We will all know that violating the law is wrong, but for the sake of what we think is morally right, we are determined to take some action. Now, let's talk about ethics in terms of business, or what we know about ethical behavior is a set of rules or standards that governs our action in order for us to meet the expectation of the surroundings or community that we belong. Of course, those standards are created only by us or the other people that make it sometimes inappropriate or biased. Paying attention to ethics makes a good business sense that creates goodwill for the companies and enhances the chances of success. Now let's uncover the challenges in ethical behavior when it comes to business. Of course, we can just say that company will prosper without the coded ethics in the system, right? But those kind of things really matters, and it is one of the major reasons why a company or business are successful nowadays and continually growing even more. So if you are about to start a business someday, I strongly advise that you will consider this idea, because it will not only help your companies to grow, but it will be able to transform your company into a business that centers the relationship and satisfaction of your customers and also your employees as well. Ethical behavior, according to dictionary.com, it defined as a system of moral principles, ethics of cultures, and rules of conduct that recognize and respect a particular class of humans. While Black Law Dictionary defines ethics as consensus of experts' opinion as the necessity of professional standard. And philosopher Aristotle defines ethics as practical wisdom because it involves an action or behavior in every individual and societal corporate. To sum up, the ethical behavior that defines by different dictionary and philosopher. Now, we all know that ethical behavior is a set of rules and standards that is created by business owners or someone who has a higher position. Now, here is a thing. What if you obey the rules but did not give a good outcome for the company, which make your company to go bankrupt? While on the other hand, you disobey the rules, but it gives very satisfying outcomes on the company. Now, here is a question. Which action shows the wisdoms in terms of what is good and what is bad? I will discuss a short story where Takomo and the White Fang of the Hidden Leaf Village as an example of the challenges to ethical behavior. Sakomo was a very kind and loyal man. He loved his only son dearly, often picking him up at the end of the day after Kakashi was done playing with his friends. Despite of his tremendous fame and power as a ninja, he was a very humble man, which made his son truly look up and idolize him. He had a deep devotion to his village and even a greater commitment to his allies and loved ones to the point that he would put their well-being before anything else. His commitment was so great that he would sacrifice the completion of a mission in order to give his teammates, which led to him to become a public figure of hate and ridicule. So, from that story, what Sakomo did was wrong and illegal because he abandoned their mission, which is against their ninja way. Because as a ninja of a Hidden Leaf Village, they believed that those who broke the rules of a ninja were a scum. But for him, those who abandoned their comrades were worse than a scum. That's why he chose to break the rules rather than putting his team or allies in a deadly situation.
Ethical behavior at work. Ethics are traditions, rules, and principles describing what is morally right and wrong. It is essential for the organization leaders and company owners to expect ethical behavior from their employees that define guidelines that can help them to be better. Ethical behavior at work serves as a guide for the employees of a company or in a business so that they can apply and inherit the qualities and characteristics needed for a certain job. Well, of course, it is important that the head of the team or the leader per se must be the first one to take an action in a way that he or she can pass the best character and behavior at work to his employees or workers. Additionally, ethical behavior is doing the right thing and adhering to professional standard at work. It is essential to have a codified set of ethical standards for your business. It can help to provide employees example of moral quandaries they may face. As I was saying, promoting the best behavior at work is one of the major standards that can help the company to grow continually. Also, it is the cornerstone of the company that can save your business in times of dilemma or problems. So if I were you, I won't hesitate to include this idea. If your business want to achieve success, you must create your own code of ethics. So first, you can build your own code of ethics if you can find an industry-specific code of ethics or you don't agree with what you see. Second, outline repercussion for ethical violations and create a positive company culture can help your business thrive. Number 3, code of ethics should clearly outline a protocol for when things go wrong. 4, don't expect to come up everything on your own. Instead, seek input from people throughout the organization. In creating your own code of ethics, you must include this: creating transparency about how the process will work and make sure to involve human resources team in this decision. Lastly, industry should have unique ethical consideration such as written system should help employees decide what to do if a conflict of interest arises. So means in the company, of course, it is better to have daily activities like seminars and trainings so that it can help the employees to improve their skill set on the job and makes them work more professionally and productively. With that aspect, customer will feel the impact of the elevated service of the employees and it will improve their opinions to the organization. So in every corner of the business, the leaders should be follow the first one to show proper conduct and character so that the employees will be more encouraged to do their jobs in accordance to the standards of the company. So let's go to how to teach employees ethical behavior. Fact, 60% of unethical conduct in the workplace involves a manager. Both company cultures and behavior come up from the top down. It's essential to turn this trend around. Number 1, ethical behavior starts with you. As the leader of the organization, you must be the first one who follows the ethical standard so your employees will be motivated to follow the ethical standards as well. So means in the company, of course, it is better to have daily activities like seminars and trainings so that it can help the employees to improve their skill set on the job and makes them work more professionally and productively. With that aspect, customer will feel the impact of the elevated service of the employees and it will improve their opinions to the organization. Number 2, regular training for all employees. Employees must take regular training to perform better at work, to improve their skills, and to be more knowledgeable. It is said that all managers know how to provide ethical questionnaire, but there are people expert in ethical teaching. Number 3, enforce the rules. There are strict rules when it comes to ethical standard, and if anyone violates the rules, he or she must face the consequences, even the person who holds the highest position. These rules are equal for all and no excuses. If there is something wrong, it will undergo to legal process and action immediately to solve the problem. So means, One of the major requirements to build an overrated company is the rules. Why? Because the rules will keep your company or business from rumbling. Everyone in the company must consider the rules before taking some action to avoid conflict at work. Also, anyone who break it must face the consequences because it is important that discipline at work is strictly implemented. Number 4, recognize integrity when you see it. When you see an employee choose that path in the face of adversity, be sure to praise her or his even if it's only in private conversation. So it means, as a leader or company owner, it is important to give your employees incentives in every accomplishment that they done because it will motivate your employees to work hard and continually pursue what they started. Last but not the least, open and honest communication is the key to creating ethical businesses. Managers should be open for all the suggestion of his or her employees because good manager is not only giving his and her employees a task but a good listener, as well as in order to have a strong relationship to each other. So it implies to us that as a manager or organization leader, they must listen, respond, and taking any action based on employee input and output. And on the employee side, they must believe the communication environment they actually experience in day-to-day work at the office, no matter how glossy the openness and honesty. Back to you, Vic.
Thank you, Justin. Moving on. How to hire ethical people. Hire people with good moral scopes. Look for the people who tend to prioritize the needs of the customers. Fact. Research shows that customer-centric people tend to have more ethical business practices. People who are assistive also tend to help create ethical companies cultures. As a result of numerous ethical violations and lapses both organization and public figures, individuals are more outspoken in their desire for integrity at all levels of society. But in hiring ethical people, the manager or organization should consider some tests, such as screening tests, so that they are able to assess the characteristic, personalities, strengths, and weaknesses of the employee. Who applying the specific job in hiring ethical people, the manager should also consider the person they hire are able to fully comply the work and applicable to the position he or she take. Back to you, Justin.
Thank you, Vic. Moving on, example of unethical behavior. First, corrupt behavior that can take many forms, but there are few moral behaviors that come up frequently. So meaning, employees need to stay away from using foul language on coworkers in and out of the workplace. This is very important when dealing with customers. Second example of unethical behavior is checking social media and making personal calls using the company time. So it implies to us that some employees still do not office work related work during office hours. Employees who have sides hustles should try doing them on weekends or employing other people to handle some of the business's logistics to avoid eating into office hour to get at the work done. Third example of unethical behavior is abusive behavior. It can take many upsetting forms such as racism, misogyny, sexual harassment, and emotional abuse. These some common causes of abusive behavior can be seen during the employment process of an organization. So customers are known to get angry and may result in verbal abuse due to a bad product or service. They may even get insult you when they are pulled. Last but not the least, theft is also example of unethical behavior, doing such take products without permission and forge check or lies about expenses. So this last example emphasizes that some employees are known for diverting company funds into their bank accounts, padding projects, quotations, invoices, and etc. to deceive the company on how much was spent on a particular projects. Back to you, Vic.
Thank you, Justin. So let us proceed to the downfall of unethical behavior. Employees theft from immediately costing of the business money, and abusive employee can cause this even long run. Legal troubles. Immoral behaviors can be the downfall in the way that hurts the bottom line. All in all, the solution to unethical behavior, business and professional wanting to uphold the values of ethics should be proactive and make sure to establish internal methods for checking and securing data. For example, system and procedures should be assessed periodically based day by day reporting data, and the time should be also be taken to review database for validity. Another great tactic to put into place is to encourage management to attend educational seminars focusing on ethical decision making within the business world. Seminars on ethics tends to be hands-on with many personal instructions with the professional to really help to build that positive rapport, something in which they will want to build with the instill within their own employees. And if you possess these traits, they have a low possibilities that your companies experience downfall. Once again, I am Vic Anthony Silva,
And I'm Justin El Sola Principe,
reporting challenges to ethical behavior.
Thank you and God bless.